It may have taken 20 films for Marvel to finally do this, but they have a movie out now with a female hero as the central lead with Captain Marvel. In the film, Brie Larson plays the titular character who's the member of an intergalactic group of soldiers known as the Kree who fight evil throughout the known universe. When tasked with taking down the members of a race of alien shapeshifters known as the Skrulls, she's ultimately separated from her team and crash lands on Earth in the mid-90s, where she crosses paths with a younger Nick Fury who still has both of his eyes. Together, they'll work to try and stop a potential Skrull invasion while also uncovering secrets about her past as United States Air Force pilot Carol Danvers. Captain Marvel definitely has its moments. I actually remember someone joking on Twitter that this looked like a remake of The Long Kiss Goodnight with space aliens, which I found pretty funny when actually watching the film. Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson admittedly have strong chemistry between them, and there are more than enough scenes with them where their dialogue is strong enough to carry things along. There are some other fun and engaging characters in the film, especially Ben Mendelsohn as Talos, and who Annette Bening ends up playing, but that's a little spoiler. And yes, Goose the cat is an absolute treasure. But one of the main problems with Captain Marvel is that the overall story can't compete with expectations. There's been a lot of speculation about how Captain Marvel will factor into Avengers Endgame, and as a result, this film at times feels like a placeholder. It doesn't feel like there's any real conflict, especially when you factor in the wasted potential of the Skrulls being shapeshifters. Lee Pace returns as Ronan the Accuser, but there's literally no reason for him to actually be featured in the film other than to stand out and look less menacing than he did in Guardians of the Galaxy. He could have easily been mentioned by other characters without being seen, and it would have served the same purpose. There's also a shift in narrative that doesn't feel entirely earned. A lot of this is due to a drastic change in personality from one of the characters directly involved in said shift. The cold opening to the film was an interesting approach to Carol's origin story, as we start things off with her already being a member of the Kree Star Force. And there's a lot of mystery surrounding her past that's interesting, but they don't do much with it. Nothing fundamentally changes for her as a character by finding out the truth. There's no arc of growth that makes her any more interesting at the end of the film than the beginning. This is where the film needed to do a lot of heavy lifting, but it's counting on an already invested audience to overlook the narrative shortcomings so long as the filmmakers at least meet them halfway. Captain Marvel instead spends more of its time playing the "did you want to know how this happened" game, and giving explanations to things that were already present in the Marvel universe, whether they contradicted themselves or not. And they do. And yes, I'm going to say it. Captain Marvel grinds to a halt when we're repeatedly reminded that, hey, she's a woman, and we have to make a big deal about that. Now, of course, it's important to showcase the themes of strength and empowerment for women, because this is something that rarely happens as far as comic book films. So it's great that it is happening, but I just wish that the filmmakers had a little more subtlety and nuance into weaving it into the overall story, because as it stands, it just feels like something to beat audiences over the head with, and this is no clearer than when you have a climactic battle that's underscored by "no doubts, I'm just a girl." We get it. You need to have a little more trust in us that we can see that, okay, this is a female character who's got the spotlight for a superhero film, and it's a great thing, but if it's happening at the expense of having a good story or just keeping the tone consistent, because I feel like that's something that the film is also suffering from. Because when you have the need to, okay, it's taking place in the 90s, so they have to have some nostalgic bits as far as music is concerned. And I just feel like you're kind of overplaying your hand, and it's not necessary. But this is kind of where we're at. So, as a film, I enjoyed it to a certain extent, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of things happening where it's competing with trying to be a strong female character as a superhero and showcasing that, and being a link to lead into Avengers Endgame, and trying to do too many things, and none of it's really coming together as strongly as it could have. But I don't even know how to rate this, because I feel like if you're already on board the Marvel train, you're gonna go see it. But if you've probably missed the last couple of movies, I don't think you're honestly missing anything. And if you're one of the, man babies on Twitter who's just pissed about this movie just for sheer virtue of it existing, then I don't know what to tell you. Stay home. But bottom line is, I don't feel like this movie was that much to write home about, so I'm gonna be more on the side of, wait for cable and streaming, but that's just me, and I know that it's probably not even worth it to even make that recommendation, because I feel like people are already seeing this in droves and it's already making its money. So more power to them for that, because obviously the goal is to see more female-fronted superhero movies, and that's a good thing. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you have any comments for this review, if you agree or disagree on my thoughts, please feel free to leave some comments in the section below. There's also a like button there for you to click if you would be so kind. And as always, please share this video with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to more At Random videos by clicking the button that should be appearing right in this general area.